In this video, we will show you how to replace your sway bar bushings on this Toyota Sienna. These will be accessed from under your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Safely make your way under the vehicle. We'll be looking for the plastic skid plate which is located behind your engine. This skid plate is held in place with one push clip directly in the center and four 10mm headed bolts, one on each corner. Typically for this, you would want to wait on the push clip, start by removing each of the four bolts. Our push clip's missing. As you remove these, you'll find that the forward mounting bolts are coarse thread mounting bolts. The rearward bolts are fine threaded mounting bolts. Make sure we hold on to that plate. Once you've removed the bolts, continue on to removing that push clip. Generally for that, you can use a plastic trim tool. We'll slide this out of place and set it aside. With that plastic shield out of the way, we have a clear view of our sway bar. If you were to follow the sway bar from the center in either direction, that's where you're going to find your sway bar bushings, just above the subframe. We can see the one on the driver's side out in the open, and we can easily gain access to both of those 12mm headed bolts. The one over towards the passenger side is a little bit more hidden up in this area behind the exhaust. Now to remove these, you're going to remove the metal bracket that goes over the top of the sway bar bushing. For this, you have a 12mm headed bolt on each side of that bracket. We'll be removing those. There we are. Looks like that's pretty much out of there. We'll inspect that mounting hardware as we continue removing it, replace it as necessary. With that one out, we can start removing the rearward bolt here. There's our second bolt. Continue on to removing your metal bracket from the top of the bushing. We'll just pry this up and out of place. You want to make sure you give that bracket a close inspection. If it looks like it's rotted and weak, go ahead and replace it. This one looks fine. The next thing we'll do is start removing the bushing from the sway bar itself. Can remove the lower bracket from this area. Gives you a little bit more access. There it is, friend. Now that we have that side apart, let's go over to the opposite side of the vehicle and do the exact same thing. At that point, we'll be able to lift up on the sway bar as needed. Now we can install our brand new sway bar bushing. When installing this, there's one thing we want to pay attention to, and that's the slot. The reason for this slot is so you can slide it over the bar. We want to make sure we have this facing towards the rear of the vehicle so no moisture or debris makes its way in while you're driving down the road. If you put it opposite, everything can make its way right in there. Let's get this sway bar bushing on here. Just spread that ear. At this point, we can lift up and down on the bar as needed. We'll install our lower bracket. See it right here. Get it just underneath there. We're trying to align our mounting bolt holes here as close as possible. We'll pause on this side and we'll install the sway bar bushing and lower bracket on the driver's side. Work that lube into position. Once again, aligning our mounting bolt holes as close as possible at least. Now it's time for our upper brackets. We'll take these and slide them into position. We'll start in our 2 mounting bolts for this. Once you have these started, you do not want to tighten them up. We want to leave everything loose while we continue over to the other side of the vehicle and repeat this process. Once everything's started in completely, we can go ahead and snug them up and torque them to manufacturer's specification. At this point, we have all of the mounting hardware started. Let's go ahead and snug it up. Once you have both of these snug, go ahead and torque them to 22 foot-pounds. There we are. Double check to make sure you're completely secure on this side, and do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the sway bar. We want to make sure everything's torqued to manufacturer's specification. Once you're sure everything's properly secured, we can continue on with our plastic shield. When installing the plastic shield, we need to align it with each of our 2 forward tabs, sliding it into the groove. Once you have that in place, we'll continue on with our mounting bolts. There's one. There we are. Now, as you remember, when we had removed the bolts, in the front, we had the coarse thread mounting bolts. Go ahead and start that in. Same on the opposite side there. Coarse thread mounting bolts. Continue on to your 2 rearward mounting bolts. These are the fine threaded mounting bolts. With all of them started in the proper position, let's go ahead and snug them up. Reinstall your plastic push clip directly in the center here. Okay friend, we finished our installation. At this point, safely make your way out from under the vehicle, take your vehicle for a road test, and listen for funny noises. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.